everyone, video number 2 today. But before I get into the video, I should have announced the winner of the book last week already, but I keep forgetting and only remember once the video is done. Anyway, I found Robin's WhatsApp again this morning, and Robin chose Deborah, or Deborah, Deborah, Gihawi, Gihawi 649. So Deborah or Deborah, if you could send me your delivery address, I'll put the order into Amazon the moment I receive it. You can send your delivery address to bookwormonthecase@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at bookwormonthecase. The email has no capitals and no spaces. If I do not receive a reply by the end of the weekend, I'll announce the next person on the list. Okay, now let's talk about a previous video I made titled Victims and Lovers about Charles and Camilla. And no, actually, I'm not going to talk much or give much of my opinion and comments today. You see, I sometimes get frustrated by some people in the comments. I admit that when I bring you gossip or speculation, I may very well be wrong sometimes, and I'm not saying my opinion is the only one that matters either. But when I bring you facts, then you can bet your bottom dollar I found it somewhere, because I'm not a member of the royal family or employed by them. So I mostly get information from books, newspapers, the internet, documents, or a handful of reliable informants. Anyway, so in light of the video I did, I want to read you an extract from Rebel King by Tom Bower, who, I must add, in his younger years was a brilliant solicitor. So from the chapter titled Revenge and Dirty Linen, the following day the Mirror published Philip's letters, and they're talking about Prince Philip. And I mean, where do you think Meghan got the idea from to have her letter to her father published? Think about that for a minute or two. Anyway, so the Mirror published Prince Philip's letters to Diana. In one, he reflected that Charles would not be in his right mind to leave Diana for Camilla. In another, he denied that he had encouraged Charles to return to Camilla should the marriage to his young wife fail after 5 years. Diana wrote back, "That made me feel like being offered to your family on a sale or return basis." The correspondence between the two included Diana's comment, "I have a husband who does not love me anymore, and by his own admission never has." And he resumed his relationship with Camilla rather sooner than you might have imagined. He was never emotionally divorced from her. Okay, now I'm not going to read further here, but there were also intimate letters between Charles and Diana, and in those letters, Charles was again accused of being unfaithful first. Other information, obviously without my opinion, came from Diana, Her True Story by Andrew Morton, and Camilla from Outcast to Queen Consort by Angela Levin. There are things in these books that I've not even talked about, like Charles taking a call from Camilla while he and Diana were on a private getaway to try and work on their marriage, and having a long conversation with Camilla regardless of the reason for the trip. However, to hop into the comments with silly accusations, "Oh, we know you hate," or "Oh, we know you dislike Camilla," is rather silly and childish. I have not read Camilla from Outcast to Queen Consort before, although I've received it from my friend Mary Ann more than a year ago. So honestly, some of the stuff in there piqued my interest, an interest I did not have before. So far, my opinion is that Camilla was selfish and not too worried about the consequences of her actions. Other than that, I find the difference between the truth and the BS Buckingham Palace put out to the press very interesting. But I'm still reading, so we'll go into more detail later. I do, however, also think that Camilla is the best thing which could have happened to Charles. I think without her, he would have been an even nastier human being and an even worse king. I truly think she is the only person besides his grandmother and Uncle Lord Mountbatten he ever took advice from. I believe she is also the only person who can keep him in check. Okay guys, so we'll get back to the subject some other day because I really want to talk about Buckingham Palace's PR strategy, and the PR surrounding Camilla at the time is a perfect example of how Charles in particular used the media to get what he wanted. And I also want to talk to you about the period after Charles and Camilla's wedding, say the first 1 to 3 years after their wedding. But for now, I'm going to take off. So bye for now.